You think control will bring peace, but what if it's the very reason you're suffering? You only lose what you cling to, said the Buddha, and yet we cling harder when things feel uncertain. We panic, plan, obsess, hoping that if we just do enough, feel enough, prepare enough, we won't break. But life doesn't work that way. So let me ask you, how much of your stress, fear, and overthinking comes from trying to control things you never really could? In this video, we're not just talking about letting go, we're learning how to build mental strength by doing it. You'll uncover the mindset shift that transformed warriors, monks, and philosophers into unshakable minds. The problem is real. Life is chaotic, unpredictable, and brutally indifferent. But once you learn this one rule, everything gets easier. If you're going to get anything out of this video, just get that. That's all you need to know in life. And wait for the powerful bonus lesson at the end. It might just set you free. Number 1, let go or be dragged. Have you ever noticed how much of your suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable? There's a truth so simple, yet so difficult to accept. Let go or be dragged. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand, clenching your fist tighter and tighter, thinking it will somehow protect you from the fire. But the longer you hold it, the more it burns. This is what we do with pain, anger, regret, clinging to it, hoping it gives us power or clarity, when all it really gives us is suffering. Buddhist philosophy doesn't ask you to stop feeling, it asks you to stop attaching. There's a vast difference. You only lose what you cling to. These words attributed to the Buddha cut through the noise of modern anxiety like a sword. Yet letting go feels like weakness, doesn't it? Like surrendering control. But here's the paradox. By resisting reality, we become its prisoner. By accepting it, we become free. Have you ever held on to a thought or a memory, hoping it would change if you thought about it enough? Maybe it's the fear of an uncertain future, the guilt of something you didn't say, or the idea that your life should look different by now. What if the resistance itself is what's making you feel stuck? In the words of a Zen teaching, let go or be dragged. The dragging isn't life, it's your refusal to flow with it. Modern life sells us the illusion of control. We're taught to plan everything, prepare for every outcome, and predict every twist of fate. But what in you still resists the unknown? What part of you cannot sit still in uncertainty? Because that's where peace lives, not in the known, but in the space where you stop forcing clarity and allow things to be what they are. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? Maybe it's an identity, a belief, or an expectation that weighs on your spirit. The truth is, the tighter you grip, the more you suffer, and the more you release, the lighter life feels. Here's a powerful shift next time you feel overwhelmed. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What am I still clinging to?" That question alone has the power to change everything. Take a moment right now. Is there something in your heart that's asking to be released? A tension you've been ignoring, a truth you've been afraid to accept? Maybe it's time. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because you will no longer be fighting it. Embracing uncertainty isn't giving up, it's growing up. It's walking with the storm rather than hiding from the rain. It's trusting that peace isn't found in answers, but in your ability to stand still inside the questions. And when you truly let go, not just in theory, but in action, life doesn't get easier because the chaos ends. It gets easier because you stop clinging to the fire. Your peace begins the moment you stop arguing with what is. 2. Observe without absorbing. Storms don't ask for your permission. They come and go, wild and uninvited. But the sky never resists. It holds everything and clings to nothing. This is how your mind can be if you stop trying to be the storm and start becoming the sky. Observe without absorbing. That's the rule. Yet in a world that constantly demands your reaction, your energy, your attention, it's not easy. But it is possible, and it's the difference between drowning in chaos and rising above it. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not your anxiety. These are just weather patterns passing through your consciousness. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. That's not just a beautiful quote. It's a survival strategy for the modern soul. Because if you keep looking outward for peace in a chaotic world, you'll only find confusion. But when you learn to observe your mind without identifying with it, everything changes. Imagine this. You're sitting in a crowded room. Everyone's voice is louder than yours. Thoughts shout. Emotions scream. But then you pause, you breathe, and you remind yourself, this is just a thought. I am not this thought. Suddenly, there's space. Not because the noise disappeared, but because you stopped absorbing it. You became the sky. There's a moment in every day, maybe during a stressful conversation, a wave of self-doubt, or scrolling endlessly through bad news, where you have a choice. Will you react to the storm or watch it pass? That split-second decision defines your peace. Most people absorb everything. Like emotional sponges, they soak up anger, fear, comparison, and then wonder why they feel heavy. But you don't have to be that person. You can be the watcher, the witness, the awareness behind it all. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, can I let this moment move through me without becoming it? That question alone can soften the sharpest anxiety. Because emotions aren't your enemy, they're just messengers. Thoughts aren't facts, they're patterns. When you can see them without becoming them, you unlock a power most people never access. Emotional freedom. In Buddhist practice, this is mindfulness at its highest form. Not just sitting still with closed eyes, but moving through life like a mountain, unshaken, present, aware. Imagine what your day would look like if you didn't absorb every irritation, every negative comment, every fleeting doubt. Imagine being so still inside that nothing could move you without your permission. This is not about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming wise. It's about knowing when to protect your peace and how to do it without closing your heart. And when you master this, when you choose to observe without absorbing, you won't just survive the storms, you'll outgrow them. Strong minds don't resist the storm. They rise above it by becoming the sky. 3. Care deeply but not widely. There's a quiet kind of suffering that comes from trying to care about everything. You want to be good, helpful, informed, responsive, but somewhere along the way you become exhausted, drained by too many causes, too many conversations, too many expectations. Like a candle trying to light every room, your flame begins to flicker. That's when the Buddhist principle whispers a truth most people overlook. Care deeply, but not widely. To care is human, but to care wisely, that's strength. To understand everything is to forgive everything. Not everything deserves your energy, not every problem, not every opinion, not every invitation to fight. The mind crumbles when it tries to fix what isn't its responsibility. What would happen if you stopped responding to everything that didn't align with your peace? Ask yourself, am I giving energy to things that grow me or drain me? The people pleaser in you might struggle with that question, but you were not born to serve noise. You were born to honor your path, and you cannot walk it fully if your hands are full of other people's burdens. There's a story of a monk who was asked how he stays calm despite the chaos around him. He smiled and said, "Because I know what's mine to carry and what isn't." That clarity is freedom. In a world that glorifies being everything to everyone, Boundaries become sacred. Saying no isn't rejection, it's a quiet yes to your soul. This is the art of narrowing your care, not to become selfish, but to become intentional. Focus your heart where it matters most, on what brings you joy, what aligns with your values, what nurtures your peace. Don't scatter your love across a battlefield of meaningless opinions. Pour it into moments, people, and actions that reflect your truth. In Buddhist thought, compassion is not blind, it's discerning. It knows the difference between helping and sacrificing yourself. It asks, is this truly worth my inner peace? And if the answer is no, then walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. We're taught to spread ourselves thin, to respond to every notification, to stay informed even when the information is toxic. But a strong mind knows better. A strong mind protects its flame. It chooses sacred over scattered, and that choice, quiet as it seems, changes everything. Start today. Audit your attention. Where is your energy going? Who or what is occupying space in your mind rent-free? Cut ties with the unnecessary. Simplify your care so what remains becomes powerful. You don't need to carry the weight of the world to be a good person. You just need to carry your purpose with clarity and love. And when you do that, when you care deeply for what truly matters, your light won't burn out. It will burn brighter. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. 4. The freedom of non-attachment. Somewhere in your life right now, something feels heavy. It could be a goal you're desperately trying to reach, a version of yourself you're afraid to let go of, or a relationship that's no longer aligned, but you're still clinging. The weight isn't from life itself, it's from the attachment to how you think life should be. Attachment is the root of all suffering. That simple truth echoes through Buddhist philosophy, like a quiet bell in a storm. But what does it actually mean to not attach? Is it apathy, detachment from love? No, it's the opposite. It's the deepest form of love, the kind that doesn't cling, doesn't control, and doesn't fear change. Imagine a leaf floating in a river. It doesn't resist the current. It doesn't try to swim upstream. It moves with grace, with trust. And somehow, it always finds its way. This is the freedom of non-attachment. It's not about giving up. It's about giving in to the flow of life without letting it define who you are. Most of us carry silent expectations of how things are supposed to unfold, and when life dares to take a different path, we suffer. Not because life is cruel, but because our attachments are rigid. Ask yourself, what am I attached to that's causing inner friction? Maybe it's an identity, like being the successful one, the strong one, the perfect one. Maybe it's an outcome you've tied your worth to. But here's the truth. You can pursue a goal with passion without being attached to it. You can love deeply without fearing loss. You can exist fully without gripping life so tightly it breaks in your hands. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It says, I trust what is. I don't need to force what isn't. And in that space you'll notice something strange. Peace rushes in. A lightness, like dropping a backpack you didn't know you were wearing. And in that release, a question arises. If I let go, what might I discover in its place? The answer is always surprising. Clarity, presence, calm. A deeper connection to you actually are, beneath the labels, beneath the noise. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring correctly, with awareness, with freedom. You begin to see that peace doesn't come from gripping life. It comes from flowing with it. You don't drown by falling into water. You drown by refusing to let go. Every day gives you a chance to practice this. When a plan falls apart, can you breathe through it without panic? When someone disagrees with you, can you listen without defending your ego? When uncertainty shows up, can you meet it with curiosity instead of fear? That's non-attachment. That's strength. Letting go isn't losing. It's remembering you were never meant to hold so tightly in the first place. 5. Respond. Don't react. There's a moment, a split second, between what happens to you and how you respond. In that space lies everything: your peace, your power, your freedom. But most people never notice it. They react instantly, automatically, like a match struck in the dark. Words fly, emotions surge, damage is done. And later they ask, why did I say that? Or why did I let it get to me? Buddhism teaches us a life-altering truth. Respond, don't react. Like a still pond reflecting the sky, clarity only comes when the mind is calm. A disturbed pond, like a disturbed mind, reflects nothing but chaos. You've been there. Someone says something cruel. A plan falls apart. An unexpected challenge hits you like a wave. Your body tenses, your mind races, and before you even think, you react. But what if you paused, just long enough to breathe, to see your emotion without becoming it? That pause is power. It's what separates mindful awareness from unconscious habit. As the Buddha once said, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. But to do that, you must first own your space, the stillness inside you that no storm can touch. Ask yourself, am I reacting out of emotion or responding from clarity? One leads to regret, the other leads to wisdom. Reactions are fast, hot, and chaotic. Responses are slow, intentional, and clear. Reaction is rooted in fear and ego. Response is born from presence. And presence can only happen when you're awake in the moment, when you've created enough space between the trigger and your choice. Picture this: a monk sitting in a noisy market. Chaos swirls around him, children shouting, merchants arguing, dogs barking. But he remains still, not because he's ignoring it, but because he's rooted in himself. He's not controlled by the outside. That's what it means to respond, to be centered enough that the world cannot shake you. Life will test you, people will push buttons, challenges will knock at your door uninvited, but you always have a choice. Can I hold stillness in the middle of noise? That's the question. The next time you feel the heat rising, pause, one deep breath, one silent second. That is the difference between adding to the fire or being the one who puts it out. Mindfulness isn't passive, it's discipline. It's training your mind not to bite the hook of every emotion that passes through. And in that discipline, you begin to master yourself. You stop being a victim of what happens and start becoming the author of how you respond. That's the mark of a strong mind, not control over the world, but control over your inner world. True power is not in how loudly you react, but in how calmly you choose to respond. 6. You are not your thoughts. Some days your mind feels like a storm, thoughts spinning, doubts shouting, memories echoing louder than your breath. It's easy to believe that what you're thinking is the truth, that every fear means danger, that every judgment is valid, that every worry is a prediction. But Buddhism reminds us, the mind is everything, what you think you become. And yet you are not your thoughts. You are the sky, vast, still, and untouched, even when clouds pass through. Most people never question the voice in their head, the one that says, "You're not enough," the one that replays mistakes like broken records. But that voice is not you, it's just noise, a pattern, an echo of past conditioning. Just like clouds, thoughts drift in and out, but they don't define the sky. Your awareness, your ability to observe without attachment, is your true self, not the fear, not the story, not even the belief. Ask yourself, who am I beneath the mental noise? Close your eyes and listen, not to the voice, but to the silence beneath it. That silence is where peace lives. That's the part of you that notices without reacting. That's the real you. But most of us confuse thoughts with truth. We feel sad and say, I am sad. We feel anxious and say, this is who I am. But sadness is just a cloud. Anxiety is just weather. You are still the sky. There's a Buddhist practice called mental noting, where instead of reacting, you simply name the thought worry, planning, fear, judgment. Just naming it creates distance. It says, I see you, but I am not you. That space is where transformation begins. That space is your power. Every time you recognize a thought and don't get pulled into it, you break a link in the chain of unconscious suffering. Ask again, is this thought helpful or just a habit of fear? Not all thoughts deserve your belief. Not all inner voices deserve your energy. Your job is not to fight the thoughts. It's to see through them, to observe them like leaves floating down a stream. Watch them pass. Don't grab them. Let them be. And in that letting go, clarity returns. This is how strong minds are built. Not by having perfect thoughts, but by learning to disidentify from them. By remembering you are not the content of your mind. You are the awareness that notices the content. You are the observer, not the storm. That shift, subtle as it is the doorway to liberation. Next time the mind floods with self-doubt or panic, breathe and remind yourself, this is just a thought. And like every cloud, it will pass. The sky always remains. You always remain. Peace begins the moment you realize you are the sky and not the storm moving through it. 7. Simplicity is a superpower. We spend so much of life chasing, accumulating, filling every corner of our time, space, and minds, convinced that more will finally make us feel whole. But what if it's not in the more, but in the less? What if the peace you're searching for isn't hidden behind one more achievement or possession, but beneath all the noise you've been carrying? Buddhism teaches a quiet truth. Live simply, so that others may simply live. It's not just about external possessions. It's about internal freedom. Simplicity is a superpower. Think of a lotus. It doesn't grow in chaos. It rises from still water, not through force, but through alignment. In the same way, your mind, your life, your soul cannot bloom in clutter. Emotional clutter, mental clutter, digital clutter, expectation clutter. We hold on to so much and wonder why we feel heavy. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that complicates my life? Maybe it's an identity that no longer fits. Maybe it's trying to impress people who don't really see you. Or maybe it's just the habit of busyness that makes silence feel unfamiliar. The modern world praises complexity, more goals, more speed, more stuff. But Buddhist wisdom invites us into a different rhythm. The deeper one, the one that doesn't shout but whispers. The one that says, you don't need more to be more. Clarity doesn't come from gaining, it comes from letting go. When the water is still, it reflects clearly. When the mind is clear, you begin to see what truly matters. Simplicity is not about poverty, it's about focus. It's not the absence of ambition, but the presence of intention. It asks, does this serve my peace? And if the answer is no, you gently release. You stop chasing every opinion, every notification, every comparison. You create space. Space to breathe, to listen, to be. That's where life actually lives. Not in the rush, but in the quiet after. And in that stillness, beauty appears, in a single moment. A deep breath, a walk without distraction, a conversation that isn't rushed. You begin to experience life, not consume it. You stop performing and start living. And suddenly, peace feels less like an achievement and more like a return. Can I find beauty in less, not more? The answer is yes, if you're willing to let go of what weighs you down. Look at your life, your space, your thoughts, your to-do lists. What can be simplified? What can be released? Because the simpler your life becomes, the stronger your mind becomes. Less distraction, more presence. Less fear, more clarity. Less noise, more depth. This is the path of the strong-minded, not to dominate the world, but to declutter it from within, to walk lightly, think clearly, and love deeply, without needing everything to feel complete. A calm life isn't found by adding more. It's revealed by removing what was never needed. 8. Protect your energy like a sacred temple. There's a quiet truth hidden beneath the surface of our fast-paced, demand-driven world. Your energy is sacred. You are not an endless well of resources. Your mind and emotions are not limitless. And yet, we often find ourselves giving our energy away, spreading it thin to everyone and everything, leaving little for the one person who truly matters: you. Buddhism teaches us the importance of boundaries, not to isolate ourselves, but to protect what is most precious, our inner peace. You are the gatekeeper of your inner monastery, the protector of your own well-being. Imagine your energy as a candle. The flame burns brightly when protected, shielded from the wind, and kept close to the warmth that feeds it. But if exposed too recklessly, the light flickers and dims. Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. Your spiritual life, your inner peace, your clarity, your emotional well-being requires nourishment. And if you are constantly giving without replenishing, if you are surrounded by negativity or energy-draining people, that flame will struggle to survive. Ask yourself, am I spending my energy on what feeds me or what depletes me? We often let external forces, people, environments, obligations take more from us than we realize. We give our time to situations that drain us, our emotions to people who don't appreciate them, and our thoughts to worries that will never be resolved. In the process, we lose touch with the things that truly nourish us: self-care, silence, creativity, rest, and meaningful connections. Setting boundaries is not about shutting others out. It's about ensuring that your energy is being used in ways that serve your growth and peace. It's about saying no to things that ask for your time and energy, but leave you empty in return. It's about recognizing when a relationship, a task, or a habit is no longer aligned with who you are and who you want to become. And it's about honoring yourself enough to step away when necessary. In a world that constantly demands more from us, it's easy to forget that we are not required to give everything we have. Boundaries allow us to preserve our energy, to protect our inner sanctuary, and to offer our time and care only where it will be received with the same respect. Creating space for yourself is not selfish, it's essential. It's the practice of maintaining your strength so that you can show up fully for what truly matters. Ask, what boundaries do I need to honor myself? Maybe it's limiting your exposure to negativity, stepping back from toxic relationships, or simply learning to say no without guilt. These boundaries are the walls of your sacred temple. They protect your peace, your purpose, and your passion. And when you nurture these boundaries, you create space for the things that truly light you up, the things that energize your soul. You are the guardian of your own energy. Tend to it as you would a flame, for it is your light in the darkness. 9. Surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. There's a quiet strength in surrender, a wisdom that is often misunderstood. In a world where we're constantly told to fight, strive, and control, the idea of surrendering can feel like weakness. But the truth is, surrender is not about giving up, it's about giving in to the flow of life. Like water, which gracefully flows around obstacles, surrender allows us to navigate through life without losing our way. It doesn't fight the current, it embraces it. And in doing so, it moves with ease and purpose, unburdened by unnecessary resistance. Buddhism teaches that we cannot control everything. We cannot dictate every outcome, nor can we prevent life's challenges from arising. But what we can do is choose how we respond. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. In these words lies the essence of surrender, not as a sign of defeat, but as an act of wisdom and grace. When we surrender, we release the need to control what cannot be controlled, and in that release, we gain freedom from suffering. Consider the times in your life when you have fought against reality, when you resisted what was happening, hoping it would change, only to find yourself exhausted and more frustrated. The truth is, resistance often creates more pain. It's in the acceptance of what is, rather than in the attempt to change it, that we discover peace. Acceptance is not about passivity. It's about embracing the present moment, no matter how difficult, and finding power in that acceptance. Ask yourself, am I resisting life or flowing with it? Resistance comes from the fear of the unknown, the anxiety of not having control over every detail. But in reality, life is unpredictable. No amount of worrying, planning, or controlling can guarantee outcomes. And so, in embracing uncertainty, we stop struggling against what is and start flowing with what comes. We stop fighting and start living in harmony with the unfolding of our journey. To surrender is to let go of the illusion of control and allow life to reveal itself in its own time and form. It's about making peace with the unknown, with the things we cannot change. In surrendering, we free ourselves from the grip of fear, worry, and expectation. Instead of constantly swimming against the current, we begin to trust the flow, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. The practice of surrender doesn't make us weak, it makes us wise. It gives us the courage to embrace life as it is, without resistance, without expectation, and without fear. And in doing so, we find our true strength, not in controlling everything, but in letting go of the need to. True power lies not in control, but in the wisdom to surrender, to flow, and to trust the journey. 10. Choose peace over being right. There's a profound power in choosing peace over being right. We live in a world where the desire to win arguments and defend our point of view can be all-consuming. But what if the real victory lies not in being right, but in letting go of the need to be? Imagine a person constantly fighting battles, always arguing to prove their worth, their ideas, their truth. It's like pouring water into a cracked bowl. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough. And in the end, all you have is emptiness. In trying to be right, we lose sight of what truly matters, our inner peace. Buddhism offers a simple but powerful lesson. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. This quote speaks to the heart of our struggles in modern life. We often engage in endless debates, clinging to the idea that we must be right in order to feel validated or heard. But in truth, this never brings us the satisfaction we expect. Arguments are like storms, brief and intense, but often leaving destruction in their wake. They leave us drained, conflicted, and disconnected. The peace we so desperately seek slips further away the more we invest in the need to win. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be free? In any disagreement, there's always a choice. You can stand firm on your position, trying to convince the other person of your truth, or you can choose peace, both for yourself and the other person. This doesn't mean you ignore your own values or let people walk all over you. It simply means that you don't need to engage in every conflict, and you don't need to defend your ego at the expense of your tranquility. Letting go of the need to be right can be a form of liberation. You release the grip of your ego and allow the space for calm to enter. This choice is a powerful one. It's not just about avoiding conflict for the sake of harmony, but about prioritizing your peace over the temporary thrill of being validated in an argument. In relationships, at work, and in everyday interactions, the goal is not to win the battle, but to cultivate an atmosphere where mutual respect and understanding can flourish. The greatest victory is not proving that you are correct, but creating an environment where both parties can feel heard, valued, and respected. When you choose peace over being right, you free yourself from the endless cycles of defensiveness and anxiety. You don't need to prove your worth or your ideas to anyone. Your truth stands on its own, without needing constant reinforcement. In this freedom, you begin to experience life more fully, unburdened by the weight of constant conflict. You gain a profound sense of peace, one that cannot be taken away by anyone's opinion or argument. Ask yourself, is this argument worth my calm? More often than not, the answer is no. True strength lies in choosing peace, in stepping away from battles that only drain you, and in embracing the freedom that comes from letting go. Choosing peace is the ultimate act of strength. It's not about being right, it's about being free. Bonus lesson: live with intent, not impulse. Imagine an archer, poised and steady, eyes focused on the target ahead. She doesn't shoot at every sound that echoes through the forest. Instead, she waits for the moment when her aim is clear and her shot will hit the mark. This is what living with intent looks like. In the chaos of everyday life, it's easy to act impulsively, reacting to every distraction, every emotion, every thought that crosses our mind. But what if we lived with more intention, with the clarity of that archer? What would change if we paused before reacting, choosing our actions with care and mindfulness? Buddhism teaches us that what we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. This profound insight reminds us that our choices today are the foundation for the life we create tomorrow. It's not about reacting to the chaos of the world around us, but about responding with purpose, aligning our actions with our deepest values. When we let our impulses rule our decisions, we act from a place of chaos, often regretting the outcomes. But when we choose to live with intention, we are guided by wisdom, clarity, and a deeper sense of peace. Take a moment and ask yourself, what would the calm and purposeful version of me do today? Begin each day with this question and let it shape your actions. In the chaos of everyday life, we often forget to pause and check in with ourselves to see if our decisions match the person we truly want to become. Instead, we get swept up by outside pressures, reacting to things without thinking about their lasting effect. But when we ask this simple question, we connect with a sense of purpose that isn't easily shaken by outside noise. Living with intention means slowing down and creating a gap between what happens and how we respond. It means not rushing into choices, but pausing, thinking, and picking the way that fits our highest self. Many times we act quickly, pushed by fear or stress, only to later wish we had taken more time to think. By slowing down and checking in with our values, we give ourselves a chance to make decisions that match who we really are, instead of acting on impulse. Ask yourself, am I choosing this from a place of wisdom or just reacting? When we react, we are often guided by emotions or by what others expect from us. But when we act with wisdom, we take a moment to pause, to ground ourselves, and to make choices that match our true intentions. Living with purpose isn't about tightly controlling every moment, but about choosing to respond with awareness, even when things feel unclear. It's about going through life with purpose and mindfulness, knowing that every step we take shapes the life we deeply want. So the next time you feel the urge to act on impulse, ask yourself, what if I just slowed down? In that quiet moment, you'll find the clarity needed to make choices that bring real peace and satisfaction. Always remember, the power to shape your future lies in the choices you make today. Make those choices wisely and make them with purpose. When you live with intention, you don't just go through life, you shape it. Here's a quick summary of the key ideas. Let go or be pulled along. True freedom starts the moment you stop holding on tightly. When you let go of what you can't control, like stress, anger, or expectations, you make room to breathe. Peace doesn't come from control, but from letting go. The practice of not caring too much starts with letting go. Watch things without taking them in. You don't need to take on the energy around you. By simply watching your thoughts and feelings without attaching to them, you create a calm space within. Observing without attachment helps prevent emotional burnout and encourages mindfulness. Care deeply, but not too broadly. Don't waste your energy on everything. Focus only on what truly matters: your values, your well-being, and your peace. Caring selectively isn't cold, it's clarity. You set yourself free by matching your concern with your purpose. That's the freedom of letting go. Detachment isn't the same as not caring. It means not letting anything control you, whether it's people, results, or things. Loosen your grip and walk lightly. That's where real freedom and happiness begin. Respond. Don't react. Between what happens and how you respond lies your true power. Instead of reacting right away, take a pause and breathe. Choose to respond with intention, not emotion, and you'll gain more control, feel less regret, and experience deeper peace. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts will pass, but they do not define you. When you understand this, you create space between you and your thoughts. That space allows calmness, clear thinking, and better choices. Simplicity is a quiet strength. Too much complexity leads to confusion. Simplicity brings peace. Clear away the mental and emotional noise. The fewer distractions you allow, the more space you create for inner peace and a meaningful life. Guard your energy like it's a sacred space. Not everything or everyone deserves access to it. Set firm boundaries and protect your personal space. Your attention is powerful. Use it wisely on things that lift you up, not wear you down. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Letting go in life doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over struggle. Acceptance is the doorway to real change. What you let go of loses its grip on you. Choose peace instead of being right. Not every disagreement is worth your peace. In the bigger picture, staying calm is more important than being correct. Ego creates conflict. Compassion brings freedom. Live with purpose, not by impulse. Don't let the world drag you in every direction. Move with awareness. Living with intention helps you use your energy wisely instead of wasting it on sudden urges. Value the power of emptiness. Stillness isn't empty. It's a rich space where growth begins. When you clear your mind of clutter, you make space for wisdom, calm, and creativity to rise. Emptiness becomes one of your greatest strengths. In a loud world that grabs your attention, takes your peace, and questions your worth. Choosing not to care about what doesn't matter is a powerful act of freedom. It's not about disconnecting from life, but about connecting more deeply with what truly matters. You don't have to fix the whole world. You just need to stop letting it break your peace of mind. Life will never be fully in your hands, but how you respond to it always is. When you stop reacting to every thought, every opinion, every outer storm, you awaken a quiet within that nothing can shake. That calm is your anchor. From that place, you stop chasing approval and begin to walk in peace. True strength isn't found in winning debates, gaining attention, or proving your worth. It's found in saying, "This doesn't deserve my energy." That's where true freedom lives. That's where your power returns to you. When you stop letting chaos pull you around, you start living your life with purpose and peace. Zen teaches that true freedom doesn't come from holding on, but from letting go. You don't have to fight your way through life. You can simply flow. The moment you see that caring less about what doesn't matter helps you care more about what truly does, you become steady and unshakable. When you release the idea of who you think you should be, you step into who you really are. Take charge of your life, not by force, but through focus. Not by doing more, but by doing what truly matters most. If this message touched you, please give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom for more peaceful Buddhist guidance. Let's grow together. Let's live with lightness,